refreshing the Warhammer community feed hasn't got me any more news about Warhammer the Old World. So today I'm going to talk about Warhammer the Old World bases, Bloodbowl and mushrooms. On the Bloodbowl front, my mostly painted team, the Iron Blue, playing in the Christchurch Bloodbowl League, have managed to win 4 of their first 5 games, or 3 of their first 4 games, one of those. And I'm back down to the TV of, does this focus, does it work? Yeah, my team value isn't exactly the highest. My next game's against one of the local game shops owners, Chris at Wizard's Retreat, so I'm looking forward to that. He's playing halflings, so potentially a bit of carnage with loads of goblins and loads of halflings on the field. A little bit of head stomping going on. All I've got in my team is 2 Blackhawks that I've chosen block for and 1 random roll and a goblin, which got me sprint. I'm not sure how this game's going to go, and I'm not sure what the other team value is, who's going to have inducements, and whether there's going to be a halfling master chef involved. If there is, I'm probably in trouble. 3 rerolls, and if I lose those guys... So, onto the mushrooms. Well, onto the mushrooms and bases, I should say. I've recently received a package from Epic Basing, and by received I mean bought with my own money, had it posted to my house, and then taken it out the mailbox. Must be owned by a dude called Phil. Thank you for your order and happy basing, Phil. Oh, isn't that cute? So as regular viewers will know, I believe that we really are going to have to pack our bases out with loads and loads of detail to make sure that we end up with a really cool looking Warhammer army once we've increased base size from 20 to 25 mil for Warhammer the Old World. One of the things I've been doing is adding flowers and mushrooms and all sorts of things to my bases. I started making some green stuff mushrooms, and then I decided it would be much more fun, or easier rather than more fun, to order from Epic Basing. So I ordered, I'm just going to check this, 12 tree stumps times 2, 60 mushroom combo times 3, and a 30 oozing mushrooms times 2. They're all made of resin. The tree stumps, I've taken one of these out of the packet to have a look at already. That's how they fit on a 25mm base. Does this work? Yeah, it kind of does. That's how they fit on the 25mm base. There's a good amount of detail on these. They're cast or printed or whatever pretty well, and yeah, they look pretty good. Smell a bit funny, but yeah, all resin seems to. Here's an idea of the oozing mushrooms and how they compare to a base. You know what, I'm just going to super glue this on and show you it that way, it'll be a lot easier. Super gluing, boring, super gluing. This is how these oozing mushrooms compare to the base size for 25mm. It's going to work out quite well, I think. It's probably the most expensive bag of mushrooms I've ever bought. And these mushrooms are the right size for the bases, I think. If they were any bigger, it wouldn't leave much room for your model. I really am a fun guy. So hopefully these bases are going to work out nicely with the mushrooms on them. Now the other thing I've been buying a lot recently and using on some of my models has been some of the miniature flowers that you can buy on AliExpress. Now I'll probably link to these in the description, and it's not going to be a sponsored link because I can't be bothered setting it up, and I'm not trying to do this for money, I'm doing this because it's fun. These are the exact packets of funny little flowers that I've been using for my daughter's high elves. They come in a range of colours, and you have to be careful because the supplier tends to swap out colours when they run out of one of them. So I got different colours to what I ordered, but they're actually still pretty cool. So got quite a few different ones. The other types of flowers that I bought were these ones, which are a bit different. I won't link to these ones because actually when you have a look at these, they are exceptionally large compared to the models, and they probably will take up about 30% of your 25mm base, and I don't actually think they're quite as well made. They're probably a bit taller, and they've been squashed by the lids of the boxes, so these ones are one I'm just not going to tell anyone about, other than to say I've tested out some different flowers and the ones I'm going to link to are actually good. Now the other thing I've been using for basing recently quite a lot, including on this Blackhawk team, have we actually got any tufts or tussocky type things on there? Not very well, easy to see, but I've been using a lot of these Vallejo woodland scenery things. The difference between these kind of cheaper Chinese flowers and these are that these definitely need some super glue or something else to hold them onto the base, whereas these can pretty much stick by themselves using the sort of adhesive that's holding them onto the greaseproof paper type stuff that they come with in the pack. So they're definitely not as good quality. Some of the petals and stuff fall off them, they're not brilliant, but these AliExpress specials are actually well worth the money in my opinion. You can take a look at the link and see how much they are in your own currency. Here's the flowers on the Northern Sea Guard for scale, just to let you see how big they are. And I think that they basically seem to fit perfectly with the scale of the model. Any smaller, they might still look a bit more realistic if they're a tiny bit smaller, but any smaller and they would kind of lose a bit of their impression. Any bigger and they'll take up too much of the base. With my armies, I want to make them unique and interesting. The key thing for me with making an army is making one that my opponent's going to enjoy playing against, because really there's no point in Warhammer if you don't have anyone to play against, and you really want them to enjoy the game too, especially if you end up stomping them. Warhammer, especially Warhammer Fantasy, is one of those games where it would be nothing without a really enthusiastic community, and it's pretty cool to be able to just meet up with random strangers or people you've known for decades, talk about Warhammer models and have everybody involved in the conversation and really enjoying themselves. So making sure your army looks good, making sure your bases look cool, I think it's going to be something that's really, really important going forward, and it has been in the past too. So my take on what you need for the bases, those Vallejo ones are pretty damn good. And they're good quality, but they're a bit more expensive than some of the Chinese stuff you can buy. The Chinese things, as long as you're willing to buy quite a lot of them, so that you can end up with the ability to buy them again, and you don't end up short flowered or short whatever it is that you need. You don't end up short on basic material after you've started your army, because they do flip-flop around and some things become unavailable long term. So with the Chinese ones, buy quite a lot of them. They're a bit cheaper. And do be ready for the disappointment of the base of them being sized a little bit too big, unless you're buying something that someone else has already bought. With the mushrooms, those things from Epic Basing, I presume the mushrooms and the tree stumps and all these sort of things are all going to be similar quality on there. If you don't want to start the hobby of 3D printing with resin, then I think they're a pretty good option. I've bought stuff from them, it came not too long, but I'm on the other side of the world from them almost, so it's not too bad. Epic Basing I would definitely buy from again. So yeah, pretty happy. Thanks for watching. I hope Nuffle smells on my Bloodbowl game later. Ring the bell 13 times to summon the Horned Rat. Oh yeah, like and subscribe and all that stuff too.